guys, welcome back to Grazy TV. If you haven't noticed, I have got a new camera, so I'm hoping that my content will be of better quality. So today we're gonna be talking about some weird, crazy, creepy Korean myths, and I want you guys to know if you've ever heard about these myths, and let me know if there's a special myth that you guys believe in your own country that we've never heard of. If you guys know, mythology or myth are based on true stories, so we're gonna see if you guys believe in these myths. So number one, we're gonna dive into death by a fan. Ever since I was younger, my parents, everyone told me don't turn on the fan on when you go to sleep. So this story apparently dates back all the way to 1920s and 30s, where people were warned of the risk of nausea, exhaustion, and facial paralysis from the new technology of this fan. One urban legend claims that a fan blade actually chops up oxygen into carbon dioxide, making the air in your bedroom impossible to breathe and therefore fatal. Another says that a fan blowing in you all night can make your body temperature drop so low that it will cause hypothermia and then death. Or a fan constantly circulating hot air won't actually cool you off. The hot air will eventually just suffocate and dehydrate you. So another really popular myth that is out there is kind of like when you're in a running car and you pull down the windows and you stick your face out and you can't really breathe because there's air force coming towards you, you know? So kind of like that, if you have a fan on while you're sleeping, it kind of suffocates you and you can't breathe naturally, eventually leading to death when you're asleep. So that is what we were taught as kids. So it's been about 100 years since the 1920s. There's no way a fan can cause hypothermia. Hypothermia is when your body's really cold, so it has to be very extreme weather in order for you to go through hypothermia. We know that fan blades cannot chop up oxygen into carbon dioxide, so that is a myth. A lot of people were thought that, if you have all the windows closed and you just have a fan on, it's going to suffocate you, but we know that that is not true. But actually, studies say ultimately sleeping with a fan can be actually harmful than good. Apparently it circulates dust and dirty things in the air, so you shouldn't really sleep with the fan on for too long. Also, I do find that whenever I wake up from sleeping with the fan on all night, I have a headache and my body feels very tight and sore whenever I sleep with the fan on. So I don't know why. I'm sure there's explanation for it online, but yeah, that's why I don't like to turn the fan on when I'm sleeping. So you guys let me know if you guys ever heard about this myth, and do you ultimately still believe it? Next is the red ink curse. Apparently, Koreans believe that if you write your name or other people's name in red ink, that is a curse. Use of red ink, especially someone's name, is a bad luck and only okay for deceased person's name. Some South Korean families forbid having red pens in their house. In the past, people used to write the name of deceased family members in the family registry with red ink. Today, to write someone's name in red implies that you want bad luck or even death to befall the individual. Even if it is a legend, don't offend someone by writing in red. Totally, I agree with this because my family always told me don't write your name in red ink. That is only for people who are deceased. So whenever I have a red ink and try to write my name, I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna die. Of course, I believe something like this kind of myth is usually happens if you really believe in. If you don't believe it, I don't believe this myth is really true. It's a respect thing now in the culture, so you should not do that, especially to a Korean. Let me know if you do believe in this red ink curse and if you've heard of this in your country. Now we're gonna go into the elevator stories. Now this is actually a very famous story. I've heard about this numerous times, when I was younger. Because in Korea, everybody pretty much lives in an apartment. There's always elevators. So picture this. It's late at night and you just parked your car. You live on the 5th floor of your apartment building. On any other day, you would take the stairs, but you had a long day and tonight you just want to take the elevator and slowly ascend to your floor. You get on the elevator and press the button labeled 5. You lean your head against the wall and wait for the door to close. Suddenly you hear someone shout, "Hold the door, please." A man enters panting, thanking you. You ask him what floor he's on. 4th, he says. Now there are variations of the stories where the guy is apparently really handsome. The man is friendly and tries to make conversation with you. You're tired and don't feel like talking, but you also don't want to come off as rude. The elevator stops at the floor 4. The man smiles and says, "I guess I'll see you around." "Yes, see you," you reply, but not before you see the man pull out a knife from the inside of his pocket. "Upstairs!" he screams with a smile on his face before he sprints towards the staircase. You panic, but you didn't react fast enough to run out the elevator. The doors have closed. The elevator begins to ascend to the 5th floor. You begin to cry. The elevator stops, the doors open. Waiting for you outside, the man with the knife. That is creepy. You guys know how elevators work. You cannot cancel the floor. So there's multiple stories, like horror stories about elevators. The guy is waiting for you at your own floor. But I actually believe in this one because like I told you guys, I had so many like faint memories of creepy men on the elevators when I was younger, when I was living in Korea. I don't know if this is a true memory or because we're so implanted with this kind of stories when we were younger, but I just know that I had creepy people coming into the elevator and trying to lure kids in and asking them where you live, what floor you live, and trying to like bring you in and saying like, hey, I have some candy. This leads me to a faint memory that I have. I just remember when I was younger, when I was living in Korea, you know, in the apartments that we would live in, there was like a mini kids park. But I just remember this one creepy guy who always tried to like stay near like the kids park, and he would wander around, he would like look at the kids and he would talk to them. I think once he tried to like offer me candy or something and ask me where I live. Ever since I was young, I was very good and I was gifted with the creep meter. Whenever someone would offer me candy, tell me to follow me home, I would never follow them, obviously. Creep meter, thank you God. Because the park is like right next to our apartment complex that, you know, our parents could kind of like watch over from our floors. So I guess people think it was like super safe. I just remember just so many times I would run into creepy people and I would protect myself, but there are kids who don't have the creep meter and who just believes in people. I just want to say, don't leave your kids alone even at the park. Next, we're gonna go into the toilet paper myth. I'm sure probably other parts of Asia as well, but in Korea, we still sometimes have the squatting toilets. It's rare now, but especially like our parents' generation, our grandparents' generation, they didn't have like toilets. My mom tells me that the house she grew up in, you know, there was no bathroom inside the house. And every time she wanted to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, she had to physically come out of the house and go to the bathroom and squat. So this myth came out from the squatting toilets. So this is a popular Korean urban legend about a ghost living in a toilet. The ghost most commonly dwells in squat toilets and appears by sticking its hand out of the bowl. It then asks you if you would prefer red toilet paper or blue toilet paper. You will have to answer the question and the door will be locked if you try to escape. If you choose the red toilet paper, the ghost will skin you alive. If you choose the blue toilet paper, the ghost will choke you death, leaving your body blue for like, what the F? So apparently this is a very popular myth that was taught to kids, which I don't understand why you talk to kids about these myths. A lot of the times the mom would say she was so scared to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night, like she tried not to, because like technically it's not even a toilet bowl, it's like a deep like well. Next we're gonna go into the taxi story. This was a very famous news that went on a couple years ago in Korea, and apparently there were these people from China that would sneak up on the Korean people, kidnap them during the night and take their organs and just leave you somewhere. But the recent cases involve taxi drivers and it's taking the internet by storm. There is like a messaging system called Kakao Talk. A screenshot of it went viral back in 2013. Don't take the taxis whenever you're drunk or at night because they might take you to a place while you're sleeping, especially drunk people. They would put anesthesia to make you fall asleep and then the person would wake up in a field and you would have your things missing. So there's also a case where a 45-year-old man got a text from his wife while he was drunk in the back of a taxi. She warned him about organ harvesting and the man jumped from the moving taxi, breaking his arm. So this was literally a serious case that was going around and no one wanted to take the taxi at night. And I remember even when I was in Korea, a lot of people would say don't fall asleep in the taxi because they will drive you to somewhere far, far away, you know, in like a deserted place where there's no one and they will sell you. Apparently police cracked down on this case and they say it's not actually true and this was just like a viral thing that went on. But honestly, I still believe this. I believe you have to be very careful when you're in a taxi, especially when you're drunk. I also told you guys on the video dangers of being a female in Korea. I had someone that I know, she got literally drugged by this guy. Apparently opened the drink in front of her so she thought it was safe to drink. She drank it. It was some kind of strong drug that makes you fall asleep. You know, those kind of drugs go around a lot at the club. I'm sure this guy was waiting for his chance whenever she fell asleep, or he was just trying to do some other naughty bad things to her that we don't know. Now we're gonna go into the myth of how Koreans believe Korea was first founded. So there is one son of a god named Hwanin, who was a son of Hwanin, asked his father if he might be allowed to descend to earth and live there instead of heaven. So the god apparently selected Pyongyang, which is North Korea as we know today, as the best place for his son to arrive and settle. One day, a bear and a tiger came to Hwanin residence in prayer and asked to be transformed into humans. The god agreed to this gift, but on the condition that they remain out of the sun for 100 days and eat only a sacred bunch of mugwort and 20 garlic cloves. The tiger was unable to keep up with the conditions, but the bear succeeded. So the bear was granted with the gift of transforming into a beautiful woman. She longed for a child, and so shortly after the god married her, and a son called Tangun was born. Tangun is traditionally credited with then creating the entire Korean race and ruling over the kingdom of Gojoseon, based on the bear turned human marrying the god and having a son, and basically like Korea was born after that. So there are some people that actually believe in this mythology, because if you look at pretty much all the mythology of this earth, everyone talks about the gods and the goddesses, and who are these gods and goddesses? And a lot of people today actually believe that the humans were actually created in hybrids of these gods, or aliens as we call it or know it as today. The aliens breeded with the animals on earth, and that came about basically the human species. So there you go, you guys. Let me know if you guys actually believe in these myths, and if there is a true myth in your country that you actually believe in, leave a comment down below. If you guys like that, remember to hit the like button. It really helps me out, and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you guys next time.